Well, 7,500 plus miles later, I'm home. That was a trip of a lifetime. And I truly appreciate everybody and your patience, especially my old boys in the Patreon group. They have been hanging tough because there's not been any posts whatsoever for them to enjoy. This is the base and the beginning of a 7/8 ground plane, otherwise known as, well, coined by one group in the radio community called the Rod of God. And their biggest claim to fame is that their dude to whom which they worship is the first one to have done everything in radio, which is completely not true. This antenna design is probably 60, if not 80 years old. 7/8 of a full wave ground plane. Yeah, it's been around for a hot minute. Now, how to make it work on a mobile, that's a different story. Come to find out, it was a compilation between a whole bunch of different people, and a lot of different people had input in it, and I cannot wait to set the record straight on this, because now I actually have one. The first person in the Northwest of the United States to have the basis for one of these. This is the last iteration of this antenna. The original ones used glass capacitors. Somewhere in that pile of stuff over there, I've got one. Two, actually. Too delicate. The glass caps are too delicate. So some other people kept refining it, and this is where they ended up with. We're going to do a video on that. Have faith. We're going to set the record straight. But I'm home. I took a couple days and was with the family. I came home last Friday. I guess there was a break going on this last weekend. Missed it. Had nothing to do with what I was doing. Just, it's the Northwest corner break, and I just didn't go. I decided to come home instead of spend more days on the road. I could have just drove straight up through California and Oregon and gone to the break, but I wanted to come home. I was on the road for 31 days. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. Today, we're here to talk about my friend Brian Smith. Brian Smith and I have been friends for 14 years, 13 years, something like that. He called me one day out of the blue and said that he wanted to replace me as use me to replace one of his vendors he currently had going on, which was X-Force, and he had a whole list of problems that he had with X-Force and the quality of the equipment that was getting produced there. And this is after Arlen had taken over, and we all know that X-Force went defunct. Is what it is. We're not going to go down that path. But that's where our friendship started. I have tried to interview Brian before, and there's always been some kind of outside weird influence that has stopped me. I'm glad I got him now instead of when I was planning on getting him before, the situation being what it is. It worked out to be better to happen just this way, the way it did. So, without further ado, the second largest CB shop by volume, online volume in the United States. My good friend Brian Smith. We're old men.
Well, yeah. 45 going on 90.
Okay. Okay, so I tell everybody, don't worry about the camera.
What camera?
Talk to me. And, yeah, let's have some fun with it.
Fan here wants to be in the video, I guess.
So one of my favorite videos I ever shot was when I was building my 15,000.
Yeah.
And I did a time lapse, and I used this song in the back of the time lapse called Fade Away. And right after I got done shooting that video, about 2 weeks later, my lab died. Mowgli.
Yeah.
He was part of the family that I adopted, you know, my wife and my kid and everything. Mojo, dude, he had a working vocabulary of like 70 million words. You could talk to him and he'd just sit there and look at you in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Just, he was like a lab golden retriever mix, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just smart. And then he passed, and I realized the only pictures or video I'd ever taken of him was that video. And it was just, you know, every once in a while I get a little bummed out and I go watch that video, and I can see Mojo. He's just sitting there watching me work. Dad, I'm just here with you, Dad. You know, because that video, it doesn't, because of the time lapse, you can't tell it takes place over an entire week, right? So the dog's just kicking it with Dad in the garage, you know. So, you never know.
He's my lap dog, and Bo, the golden doodle, he's the big baby. Finn here thinks he runs the roost.
Well, he does. He's probably the alpha dog.
Finn will jump up in the back of the truck. Bo wants me to put him in the back.
Yeah, little dog jumps. The tiny one's like,
yep.
The little one jumps, and the big one's like, what do we do? Well, gentlemen, we're joined today by my good friend, and one of the few people I credit with saving my business way back when, Brian Smith, a.k.a. Truck CB Sales. So Brian, way back in the day, called me, and he didn't know it at the time, but I was having a pretty down day because that was back when I let emotions and stuff in my head. I was feeling a little down about some of the stuff that was going on with the radio community at that time, and he calls me up and he says, well, I'd like to hire you to build me some amplifiers. I'm like, oh yeah? And then he went on to tell me a story about how he ended up coming across me, and can you believe that's been almost 12 years ago now?
That's insane.
We have been
That
through
is
some
insane.
since then.
Oh, I know.
Some insane shit. For you in the audience that don't know, Brian owns truckcbsales.com, and before he owned Truck CB Sales, he had, well, of course, Truck CB Sales. But it was just through Facebook, wasn't it, right?
Yeah. You know, for years it was word of mouth, and then I got Facebook and thought, well, you know what? I'm going to at least throw my name out there. And then I thought it blew up then. Of course, when the website launched, then it really blew up.
Yeah, the website was something that we heard about for, oh, I'm building it, and we started teasing about it. And I say we, there's a tight little clique of us. There's, what, maybe 4 of us in that little circle.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of all come along around roughly the same time, all found each other and built really good friendships. But we'd tease them, when are you going to launch that website? Oh, we're working on it. God, you launched that webpage, and it was just like an atom bomb on the radio world.
It was. It was. I mean, almost instantly. It was. Of course, I've had a lot of good support by a lot of, you know, customers from way back, / friends, and, you know, word of mouth. And
I met some of the nicest people through you. I mean, I don't know, you just attract really good people to you. And I mean, it's amazing how you meet one friend and then you make other friends and I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of super good operators out there. I mean, a lot of CBers get a bad name, you know, but there's a lot more good than bad out there.
Yeah. But it seems like the squeaky wheel's the one that gets the oil. So the bad ones we hear a lot about.
Yep.
So, okay. You're a lot like me. We're a lot kind of like-minded in this way. We don't make it our business to say anything negative. And I kind of point this out in every YouTube video that, you know, we're talking about you, we're talking about your business, the things you want to talk about, and we're not interested in focusing on running down anybody ever. And as if you've never noticed, all of my interview videos, I don't let that happen at all. There's been quite a few talk shows that have tried to come up in the last few years that we've seen come up, and well, we've seen it fail a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I found that was the running theme amongst all of those. The reason they failed is because they let the people they were interviewing start running down other people, and it turns into a mess.
I've never understood why some people take that route. I do not understand.
I don't get it either. But it is what it is. So, you and the viewing audience, once again, Brian here represents about 50 to 60% of the sales of radios in the United States right now, by volume.
Yeah, by volume, yes.
I work with my friend 12 in the Valley, and he's primarily a Channel 6 guy. And so I called him last night and I said, okay, we're changing the plan on what we're doing. I said, I'm here with Brian. I'm going to interview Brian. He's like, who's Brian? And I'm like, dude, you've been sleeping under a rock? I was shocked because it's been so long since I talked with anybody
Yeah.
that didn't know who you were, what you actually do. So, for those that you don't know, Walcott CB, up there in Nebraska, they're in Nebraska. No, Iowa 80.
Yeah.
They're kind of a satellite attachment to the Iowa 80 truck stop. Walcott is the largest by volume as far as direct new sales,
Correct.
and you are the second largest in the United States. And then you do the most. I mean, after what I've seen here today, you got quite a bit of stuff going on in the background other than just radios.
Oh yeah. There's a
I
lot.
mean, you've really. So D-Win and D-Rail, they're up there too. You guys are the top three. Walcott, you, and then D-Win and
Yeah.
D-Rail. I don't know. I think the chase for second, because they focus on just on new radios. I think that you kind of eclipse them because of all the other stuff you've got going on, which we'll touch on here in a minute. I mean, you got a lot of really cool stuff here, dude.
It's a lot more than people could even imagine, and there's just a lot more to it. When people hear that you're 4 to 6 weeks back, they think, well, how's that possible? I mean, if you come in one morning and you've had 12 radio sales overnight, yeah, one of them might take 45 minutes, one of them might take 3 hours. But that's why we invite the summertime. June and July slows down a little bit, which allows us to catch up a little bit more. Same way with our buddy D-Rail and D-Win. Same thing with them, man. They kind of invite the summertime to give them a little time to catch up.
I've never been any place like yesterday. We were standing outside unloading stuff because I had to bring a very special piece of equipment to my friend Brian here and drop it off. And we were unloading my dually yesterday, and up pulls one UPS truck, and it shows up to pick up all the packages leaving. And then a whole nother separate truck showed up to drop off everything that was coming in new. I've never seen that before. And you do that, what, daily, bi-daily?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's at least 10 plus packages a day that go out. Now, as far as coming in, I mean, like you've seen 12 or 14 cases of radios yesterday. I mean, I'll probably have one more shipment in this week, so we get about 2 shipments in a week. I mean, I get people ask me, well, are you out of this radio? Well, no, but if I do run out, no big deal. Another shipment's going to be in next week.
So now you got stuff in the garage upstairs, plus there's stuff everywhere here.
Yes, yeah. Got the area there at the garage. It's got all the Moron made beams, all the truckerized J-poles. I just try to keep a big inventory of them. All the short shaft open coil antennas, the big stuff. And of course, the inventory rooms in this next room over. And
yeah, that's only half of what I've seen. Not even half. You have, since I came down the last time, when I come down to the old house, which was the new house, but now it's the old house, you have tripled your workspace, if not more.
Oh yeah, tripled it here. And I've got the facility up in Glasgow. It's 5,000 square foot, which I've decided not to use. When interest rates come down, we're going to sell it and do a 40 by 60 out here to do everything out of.
I don't blame you, man. I'm telling you, to go from New York, New Jersey, and then down to Maryland, and then just get in the truck and drive for 11 and a half hours and come here, it's almost like a culture shock, because I was there in Jersey for a week, and then I was in Maryland for like 4 or 5 days, and it was just, I don't know, you go from the part of the country everybody's ready to rip you off, steal or break into your shit, and then come down here where it's like, nah, man, you can leave all your windows open, don't even bother locking your door.
It's nice.
Versus where the other shop you were at, there was still a little bit of that, and you are laid back in the woods here, and you got no neighbors. I have to ask you off camera how big your service is and how big we really want to go.
Yeah.
And send lightning bolts from the ground to the sky like I do.
Well,
You don't have a lot of time talking on the radio, though, do you?
I don't.
You're still doing the roll call thing?
Yeah, I don't run the roll call. I help best I can, and of course I stream it live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Time on my YouTube channel. The guys next county over kind of got it started. It's been a great thing. I mean, started out 60, 70 people on Saturday nights. Now it ranges between 250 and 350. Just really depends, you know, how conditions are. If we got storms, stuff like that.
Well, okay. So I do kind of the same thing, everything. It's a beginning of the story, like where we start, then build up to how we got to where you are, and then we do the end of the story on like where you're wanting to go. And I don't know how you're going to grow past this, but I know that you got plans. So let's start at the beginning, way back in the beginning.
Oh, wow.
So we were talking last night, and Brian kind of gave me a little bit of the skinny rub down. He started the radio before you even had pubes, didn't you?
It's been a while back in the DeLorean days. So
No,
about
John DeLorean.
about 93 is when I really discovered. 92, 93. Discovered, you know, I was about 13, 14.
Yeah.
And I was just in my dad's shop where he literally took tractors that were in boxes and put them together, and had a complete C Farmall tractor, a David Brown 885s, and I was just going through his boxes of junk because he kept everything. And I ran across this 23 channel radio, little Royce radio, and I just remember like it was yesterday. I looked at it, it was turning the knobs on it, and it had like just some pigtail wire sticking out the back, you know, a little red and black wire, and I thought, red's probably positive, black's probably negative. And didn't have a power supply or nothing because I wasn't into none of that. And I took the lawnmower battery out of the lawnmower and set it out in front of the shop. It was hot outside, and there was a little concrete pad. And I sat on the concrete pad, and I sat Indian style on the grass right there and touched the wires to it, and it lit up. I thought, well, that's cool. So then I got 2 little rocks just to sit on top of the wire, just to hold them where they make connection. So I start spinning through it. I'm like, well, there's nothing. What am I supposed to be hearing? Couldn't hear nothing. Of course, there was no internet back then, you know, to look up this. Yeah. Couldn't Google this, couldn't Google that.
We had internet, but it was AOL, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think in this area, it was 1997 when they brought it into the schools, and it was just, you know, sign on and, you know, Google.
So you grew up just down the road from here, right?
Yeah, 2.5 miles from where I'm at now.
That way?
Yeah, a little community called
deeper into the country. Then.
Oh yeah, and we can go by there today, and I'll show you. But I seen this little socket on the back of that radio, and I was like, it's got to be for like an antenna or something. So I got an old coat hanger and just stuck it in the center conductor of what I know now to be an SO239 panel jack.
Right.
And just spinning through.
Panel mount.
Panel mount. There you go.
There's people out there that are going to watch this. It'll be down a doobly-doo going,
oh, that's fine.
He got that wrong. What's he know about?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. Like,
dude, we're so over it at this point. You and me, I remember when we first met, we could not understand why things are the way they are, but now we're just so jaded to it.
Yeah, I remember being so tore up about it back in the early days, but...
Well, there was a couple people there that made us jaded. And,
yeah.
And, you know, I don't care for those people because I guess they're still breathing or whatever, but literally whatever. But in the same breath, I look at it and go, no, that made me a stronger, better person for this hobby.
And they came and they're gone.
They're
and
gone.
We are
now.
Still here.
Yeah. Still trying to make the world a better place. Sorry, everybody.
It's going to happen many times. We're going to get sidetracked. But
Wow.
So I rammed that old coat hanger inside that.
Was it 2 fingers or 3 fingers you rammed in there?
I think it was 1 finger back in the day.
Little kid finger, you know.
Yeah. And
Just
spinning the dial. And all of a sudden I got to channel 6, and it was like, boom, loud. Just heard all these people in there talking like crazy. And here's radios just sitting on this concrete pad, and a coat hanger just stuck in it. All kinds of guys in there talking. It was distorted horribly, mainly because I'm dealing with a speaker and a radio from the 70s.
The speaker is probably rotted out too.
Right.
Come out of a tractor, been wet once or twice, yeah.
And man, that just totally intrigued me. I mean, the idea of, you know, the airwaves and then it being converted over back to voice, it just blew my mind. So I was hooked. Right then I was hooked.
I call it magic.
It really is.
My first experience, I've said this many times, was in Oklahoma. and I went to my granddad's house, and they had radios and everything. And we always we had to run to Tulsa, or we go to Oklahoma City, and we'd have to take 2 vehicles because I wanted to talk on the radio. I just thought it was magic that there was no wires that went between A and B. And that moment on, I was like, how does this work? This isn't magic. This is something we figured out how to harness. How does this work? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, back then where I lived, we still had party lines on our phones. There wasn't no cell phones. Had party lines. You pick up the phone, if your neighbor's on, you had to hang up.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of went from there. My mom took me to a department store called Rose's. I don't know if y'all ever had one of them up in the Northwest or not.
No.
It was kind of like a Kmart.
Okay.
Okay. And I went in there and found a CB antenna. You could just go right in there and.
Oh yeah, back when you could buy them everywhere. Yeah.
It's some little, I don't remember how much it was, probably $20, and had a little black base on it and a little spring and a little whip like this long, and
had the little black coil in the middle of it.
Yeah. And me not knowing nothing.
Kind of like the Archer mag mount kind of thing.
Yep, kind of like that.
Yeah.
This was like a lit mount on it, and I didn't know no better. I didn't even know what a base antenna was. No idea.
Yeah.
And we got back, and I got a ladder, and there's a red shed out there by the house. I thought I'm gonna hook it up in there. So I took a little L bracket and just nailed it to the side of the shed and mounted the antenna there and hooked it up, and I could hear all kinds of people, but nobody could hear me. Of course, here I am taking a mobile antenna, not grounded, and stuck into a piece of wood.
Yeah. But it was up off the ground, and it wasn't sitting on the concrete no more.
Right. And so I heard all these people on different channels, and I got to where I could finally talk to people. There was a few miles down the road. Of course, back then, on this road I lived on, there was 8 or 10 people that I ended up finding out that talked on the radio, had base stations. It was real popular around here.
No.
Yes, very
Not in
popular.
the South, no.
Yep. And
I remember getting wise to it and going to Oklahoma and driving along, and I'm like, wow, they got a CB, they got a CB. Next block down, they got a CB. That house next to them's got a CB. That one's everybody knew everybody, and they all talked on it.
Yep.
I feel like we were born like maybe 15 or 20 years too late.
I know.
When it comes to just this hobby, I feel like we missed the heyday kind of. But then we're in our heyday right now. But
which is why I really enjoy when a customer calls that's somewhere around 60, 65, 70, and they start telling me about their past experiences and when they got into radio, and it used to be like this, like that, and it's just really cool to hear all them stories.
I used to get that, but now that I don't know what I did or what I've said, I think it's probably because I mentioned it in many YouTube videos. When people call me, they want to be very short. I enjoy talking on the phone. I don't know about you, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking on the radio. I don't get a lot of time for it, but people are very. I hear this a lot. I know you're a very busy man, so I won't keep you long. And then I have to pull it out of them for them to sit on the phone and talk to me for 20, 30 minutes, and I get to hear their whole history. But it used to be that way all the time. They'd call, they'd tell me their whole thing, and I enjoy that.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
That's why we wear headsets. Most of the time I can work while I'm talking.
Yeah, I don't even think about what I'm doing anymore.
I get a lot of phone calls, so I try to call them back if they beep in.
You are way busier than me, buddy. I got to tell you, I don't know how you manage it, because the last 2 days. All right, so let me jump off topic here real quick, and then we got to take a break real quick. I drove through a tsunami of water to get here through probably a mild rainstorm for you all, but it was just enough to rip off my taillight on my dually, so I had to quick Amazon next day. You know what I mean? So I spent the night here, and I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't be shooting this video otherwise. But just watching you've literally had to push your phones away the entire time I've been around, or otherwise you'd be on your phone nonstop.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of phone calls to return tomorrow, a lot.
Yeah, I got quite a few from today, but yesterday was really quiet. But you were going all day yesterday.
Well, the thing is, I get so many people tell me, you actually answer the phone, nobody answers, or nobody calls me back, and I can't wrap my head around that. If you're a business,
when you get a hold of them, they're rude to you.
That too, and I just don't understand.
I don't understand that either. I get it. I got to get stuff done. I got to shoot videos. So it's like I do it in little blurps. I'll do a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, then a lot in the evening. But I try not to be rude to people because I remember when I started, it was like I'd call and try to get information or talk to somebody, and they'd treat me like, one, I was garbage. Two, I didn't know anything. And they were incredibly rude.
Right.
You're not that. You honestly are trying to, I mean, it has been neat to watch you work because you honestly just try to make time for everyone, which I get how hard that is, and it's taxing. But
It is.
I like it. I like it, and I know you do, or otherwise you wouldn't be in what you're doing.
I mean, if we didn't like talking, we wouldn't like CB radio. So
Right?
it's just the people you meet in this hobby and the people you educate.
Boy, do they
and a
vary.
lot of times the people that educate you. It works both ways.
I will say that not a day goes by where I don't get to learn something new
I
with this
agree.
hobby.
100%.
And I've made this my life now for, what, 12, 13 years? I mean, this is my life. This is what I do all day. And the same thing with you. This is what we do. And every day I learn something new from somebody, or something new every day. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Okay, so where we left off, I think, if I remember correctly, in my feeble old Elmer brain that I have, you had the antenna hanging on the side of the barn.
Yeah, little red shed.
Yeah.
Had a slanted roof on it. I love thinking back about this. Just when you think your memory's not good, it all just starts kind of coming back.
Yeah, but just don't ask us to find the glasses that are on her head.
Yep. You know how many times I said, where my glasses go? Where my glasses go? Because up until a year and a half ago, I didn't have to wear reading glasses.
Mine's my keys. I put them in the same place every time, and if they're not there, I'm totally lost. Lost. So we're at the shed.
Yep, met some local guys, talked to them, Country Boy, Scavenger, several more, and they said, you need to get a base antenna. And I'm like, oh, really? So I'm like, well, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's a big long antenna that's meant for radios when you have them in the house. You know, they have their own ground plane. And
Like, what's a ground plane?
yeah, I know. That was next. What's a ground plane? They went explaining it. Well, this old boy Scavenger said, my dad sells radios and equipment. We can go up there. And I said, okay. So went up there, and he had a blue, aluminum blue Channel Master ground plane antenna. Yep, I'd never seen one made by Channel Master. Of course,
Yeah, I can't wait to Google that. I've never heard of that antenna before.
It said Channel Master on it, and I hooked it up. Well, I went over to the sinkhole because, you know, back in the day in the country, you know, you throw all the junk in the sinkhole, you know, scrap metal, everything. So I went over to the sinkhole and found a push-up hole out in our field, and it was 3 sections. Of course, it was rusted horribly bad. So I'm sitting there trying to get it to pull out, couldn't get it to pull out, and started spraying WD-40 all over it. And of course, my hands are brown, it's full of rust. And finally get it where to pull out and go back in. So I mount it up against the side of the roof, get on top of the roof, put the antenna on there and coax, and then I'm struggling trying to push it up because, you know, I'm just, you know, itty bitty, 14, 15 years old, and get it shoved up finally. I mean, it's 100 degrees outside on top of that rooftop and pouring sweat.
7,000% humidity
Right.
down here in the south.
Get down there and hook the coax into the radio. No, they had no SWR meters, nothing like that, you know, back
Oh,
then.
no. No one knew what that was when they started. No one
I
does.
mean, you know, and turned it on, didn't hear nobody, didn't hear nothing. Keyed it up, nothing. Nobody could hear me, not even in the driveway. Because my buddy that I'd met, Scavenger, came over and he couldn't even hear me in the driveway. So his father, old Kentucky Colonel, had sold me a burn-up antenna. Had been hit by lightning. It's what ended up happening. So Scavenger said, come on, we're going back to see Daddy. He rolled up in there and said, Daddy, you sold this boy a bad antenna, and I think you knew it was bad. Of course, he's like, well, I don't know. Turns out, long story short, this guy was well known for many things like that. Well, in the meantime, he didn't have another antenna. He said, well, you know what? He said, at the time they called me Trucker Boy. As a kid, I was like, surely the only people that have CBs are truck drivers. And I was a boy, so I'm like, I'll just be trucker boy. And he said, trucker boy, pick out anything in this shop you want. And I'm like, really? So I went over and seen this little bass radio, a Realistic TRC 431. And I said, I'd like to have that. He said, just take it. And Colonel's...
Did it work?
We didn't know at the time. So
Typical.
got home. Before we went home, we went by the mall. And I'd been saving up my money. We set tobacco, cut tobacco, so I always had to work for my money. Went into Radio Shack and asked for a CB antenna. They brought out the Archer. It was like a light blue color fiberglass antenna.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah. 200 watt antenna, yeah.
Yep. And put it up and hooked it up to it, and I could hear everything. Of course, in the 90s like that, the skip was running wild. I mean, it would run all night long, California, Hawaii, Australia, and I could just talk to them even barefoot. I loved it, but I wanted more. And ended up, he brought me over a little amplifier. It was a little Silver Streak 100 or something, And I grabbed my old trusty lawnmower battery and hooked it to it. And
Still had
no watt meters.
different lawnmower battery or no?
I think it was the same one.
Okay, so this is in a short time frame then.
Yeah, like within like a month or whatever, yeah.
Okay.
Because, once I got the bug, I'm like, I need to do better. And so that helped me out a lot. And I would there was many nights that I would be on that radio and still hear the birds tweeting, and it was already morning time where we talked from.
Right. A lot of people don't understand oh my God.
And I mean, there was guys that would talk all night long.
Same thing going on with me just 4 years before. Anyhow, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, and there was a few of the guys that would hang in there all night long with you. And sometimes you would be talking to somebody at 8 o'clock at night, telling them have a good night. They're going to bed,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 5 o'clock in the morning, they're getting up and they're like, trucker boy, you're still awake? I'm like, yeah, good morning. So I got to tell them good night and good morning.
I had a friend of mine that come get me every morning and take me to school when I was in high school. And I'd be up all night dicking around on the radio. And I'd get to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. He'd be over there at 6 beating on my bedroom window. Wake up, man, we got to go to school. And I'd wake up and I'd stare at him out the window every day like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just kind of went from there.
How many people do you think were local talking on the radio when you were a kid? Because we had a list. There was this guy that was in town. His name was Kerry Went. His handle was Bouncer. And he bounced for like 5 years at one of our more famous bars in that town. It was called the Hi Ho. Like Hihoe.
Okay.
High class joint. No. Anyhow, he started a list. He had this memory that was just, God, blows my mind. He could remember everybody's name, first, last name, who they were related to, their kids' names, and their phone numbers. And he sat down one night and he started writing out a list. And it had like 700 plus people on it. We had 3 local channels, and there was always something going on each channel. And that each local channel had their own little clique, their own little group of people that they'd go do stuff. They'd do fox hunts. They would do parties. He knew everybody, but it was 700 plus people on that list. What did you have going on down here?
I mean, I would just be guessing at numbers, but it was in the hundreds for sure. 'Cause where I'm located here, basically, which is 2 miles from where I grew up, you have Scottsville, Kentucky, 18 miles this way. Bowling Green, Kentucky, 16 miles west.
Which I had no idea how big it was until I was there yesterday. That is a decent sized little town, man.
It is at one time it was rated the fastest growing city in America at one time. I don't know about now, but
and there's everything in that town, dude.
They've really expanded.
You've got a Buc-ee's now.
Yep, got a Buc-ee's 6 miles up the road here. Exit 38 I-65.
How many pumps? 300, 400 pumps?
A bunch. I don't know. I just
I
try
know
to go
the
to
one
the
I filled
end.
out today was 261 because it didn't print a receipt and I had to go into the. It's a zoo in there.
Oh yeah, it is. If you want to go in there and it not be busy, you need to go after midnight.
Anywho, back to radio. So you got the Archer antenna. God, what were those called?
Crossbow, maybe?
No.
No.
It doesn't matter. You know me. I'm going to go find a picture of one and throw it in here. But
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were called. It was that thing, the Shakespeare Super Big Stick, and the not Ameritron, but the Amtron 99.
Yeah.
And that, they're all because some CBR got electrocuted and sued all the antenna manufacturers. Remember?
Yeah.
They got to be insulated to 15,000 volts. For those of you that are in video land, I don't know if you know this or not. In the late 80s, early 90s, there was a couple CBRs that were putting up a big aluminum antenna right next to some power wires, and they might have lost control of it, and it fell into the power lines, and the utility had something to say about it, and the people died, and family members sued, and there was lawsuits, and then there was laws, and then the FCC came out with a rule, and so it's technically not legal to build an 11-meter antenna that's made of any conductive material. It has to be a self-insulation or isolating value of up to 15,000 volts for 11 meters only. That's why we see all these aluminum antennas that are put out there today are marketed strictly as 10-meter antennas.
Yeah.
Amateur antennas.
But it's like jaywalking.
Or spitting on the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still get some people call me that's been out of it for like decades, and they say, I'm just getting back in. And one of them will say, well, I don't know if I should talk about this, but what about one of them boosters? Can you get those? And I go and tell them the whole spiel, and
yeah. So you got your first amp, which was a Silver Streak 150 or 100?
Might have been a 150.
Now, was it the Silver Streak that's skinny with the stud mount transistors in it, or is it the wide one that was kind of flat that looks like a Palomar?
No, it had the stud mount transistors, the skinny one. Yeah,
okay.
Real narrow.
Yeah.
And that was just enough just to make me want more, Of course, height is might, so the next step was hitting up mom and dad. Hey, I want to put my antenna on top of y'all's TV tower. Wasn't no cable or satellite where I lived back then, or they were too tight for it anyways.
Most of the people that are going to watch this are going to remember this, but back in the day, there was this thing called terrestrial television. And God help you if you, there goes my phone. God help you if the president spoke on television that night. Your night was over. I don't care what program you want, every different time, different era, but for people that live out here in the flatland where you're at, you couldn't just have your antenna pointed at some mountaintop. There would be a transmitter 150 miles that away, another one 80 miles the complete opposite direction. So if you wanted to watch a television channel, you had to change the channel, and then you had to grab your antenna control box and actually point at the station. So how tall was the tower that was behind your guys' house?
It was about 50 foot, and just a regular old 5-step tower Dad had put up, and had the Channel Master booster, little Channel Master rotor and antenna. And if we wanted to watch the local news in Bowling Green, had to ying, 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 turn your antenna that way.
Now, was it one of these rotor control boxes where the needle moved smoothly, or it went clunk, 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 clunk?
No, this would move smoothly. You'd turn the dial, and it'd go vrr, 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 and then it'd stop when it got to it. But and you could just watch the TV, the picture fade in. If you went past it, it'd start fading back out. Because if we wanted to watch anything out of Nashville, it was up high enough that we could get to Nashville, but you had to point south. So,
being that I drove through Nashville a couple times now. Really?
Yep. So we could get WTVF Channel 5 really well. WSMB 4 was always had a little bit of a snowy screen, but anyways, I talked Dad into let me.
Your dad is freaking awesome.
I know.
Your dad is freaking awesome. I got to meet Brian's dad day before yesterday, and I just call him Mr. Smith. He is such a nice man.
He's done a lot.
Man, that room over there, he was so excited to show me that room yesterday. When I started talking to him about mixers and consoles and stuff, his eyes just lit up. And he has been all over the place and done some really cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, he would have up and coming possible country music singers come out of Nashville, come up here to record. Don't know how many of them made it big. I mean, there's probably some names he hasn't told me about, what have you, but You know, he's just one of them that can just pretty much do anything.
Your dad just wrote a book, didn't he?
He did, called Learning to Live. It'll be probably available by the time this comes out.
Yeah. I'll buy a copy of it.
Learning to Live. It's about his childhood up to age 18. I cannot wait to read it.
And he cannot type. He had to do it all one letter at a time. Yeah, I can't. After getting to spend some time with him yesterday, he's had a very full, busy life. Like, and you know, I mean, like your son Oliver running around here. We're busy with all this kind of stuff, and he just clueless to it. You're the same way with him, and you just part of life to you, right?
Yeah.
For him, and to have those little snippet windows back into, I mean, he is. I mean, just looking at some of the memorabilia he's got around here, he has seen some neat shit in his time.
Oh yeah,
He's got Woodstock tickets framed up on the wall up there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that kind of stuff. He'd been there and just lived his life well. So you talk to your dad because your dad is awesome. I can envision this now that I met your dad and I've seen what he looked like when you were younger. Your dad climbed the tower for you.
Yeah, and the reason he had no trouble climbing the tower, of course, he put the tower up himself anyways. To make extra money on the side, he used to climb the radio station towers in Bowling Green and some in Glasgow to replace the beacon bulbs every so often. So he would pack his lunch and put on his climbing belt. This was before you had to have all this OSHA stuff.
The safety police took over.
Yeah, no hard hat.
Yeah,
you know.
No. If you die, that's on you, kind of thing. Yeah.
He would have a separate bag that he'd carry his bulb up with, or bulbs, and spend the day changing them out. So that height didn't bother him. Some of them were 350, 400 foot. So
I haven't seen one that's under about 500 foot down here. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how tall those were. They've since been tore down. They cut the guy wires and let them fall. But
which is a crime to me.
I know, it makes me sick.
When I watch a YouTube video, whatever is off the air, and they watch the video come down. Hey, come here. Come on, it's okay. Come on down here. He's sneaking down the steps. He wants to come see what we're doing.
Come here, Oliver.
So what do you end up putting up on top of the beam?
Well, on top, you had your TV antenna. So I went ahead and put up the Archer antenna, Radio Shack ground plane first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I had some old RG8 coax running the house. Turned the radio on.
Are we talking RG8X?
No.
Or the RG8 that's like 213?
The RG8U, just like 213.
Okay.
And it was like a whole different world because I went from being, I was kind of in a hole at like 30 feet to going 55 foot up high.
What are you doing, buddy?
What are you doing? Take that off and come here. Take that off.
Leave it.
He's being shy.
Are you? Watch that, don't hit the camera stand.
It's all right.
Come here. What you been doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. What do you go by on the radio? Big O? He got to experience the roll call for the first time a few weeks ago. He had not had nothing to do with it. So then he got on his iPad on the live stream and was commenting and talking to other people.
No kidding.
He become popular just like that.
Yeah.
And now he wants to watch the roll call every time.
We were at dinner the other night, and I noticed that there's two things that they really advertise the snot out of in the meals down here. One is Tillamook cheese, right?
You know about that cheese, don't you?
I know.
And the other one's the big Idaho russet potato, and I just sat there and started laughing. So Brian here didn't know what Tillamook cheese was. But then I got back here to the house, and you went and picked up your boy after dinner, and
Hey, Dad.
or no, it was the next day, and I got out cheese and I gave it to your son, and boy, he is all about it now.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
good stuff, isn't it?
You good? What you need, bud?
What is that, Anya?
It's the microphone because we're live right now doing the video, so you're on camera too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be up there. I'll be up there to see you in just a few
Let
minutes.
me borrow
okay?
him for about 30, 40 more minutes, and
Yep.
you can have him back, okay?
Okay. Right.
Thanks, buddy.
No problemo.
He's such a good kid.
He is. He's just now starting to love fishing, and he'll get on there and key the
He's
pedal.
at that age where you can really start having fun with them, right?
Yep.
Teach them how to hunt, fish, shoot, and this is the formative years.
Yep.
And if he gets to bite a radio, it's going to be now.
Oh yeah, he'll get in there and talk to the locals. He won't say a whole lot. He'll just key up and he'll say bump bump, or he'll key up and say truck CB sales.
He goes, "Do you do my dad's roll call?" And I'm like, "No." Why not? I'm too far away, buddy. Way too far away. Oh, well, I've talked on his radio doing a roll call thing. I'm like, have you?
Yep. Oh, other day, he had one of my phones. I was driving down the road, and he said, "You got 5 viewers." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I'm live on your TikTok." I said, "Oliver, don't go live." I said, "I've never even went live on TikTok." And grabbed the phone and looked, and there it was live. You know, he just started 30 seconds ago.
See, I don't have TikTok.
I didn't know how to shut the recording off, so I just shut the phone off. But anyways,
Yeah. So, okay, so you got the Archer antenna up there that neither one of us can remember what the name of it is. God, it's right. It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
yeah,
I'm sure I'll put it up on the
Yeah.
screen somewhere, like in here. I guarantee you.
And I believe it was just 2-piece. It had your main part and then the whip it screwed in.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you got the antenna up. You got some old RG8 going up there. That's not where it ended. No way. No way.
I turned it on and I was hearing, I thought I could hear everything before. I was hearing the world. It was crazy. So I talked on it a little bit and had that little amp, but I wanted to talk farther.
Now, how were you not tearing up the television?
TV was off. Yeah. So Brian couldn't talk on the radio when they wanted to watch TV because, the minute you key up, it would just black it out.
Right.
I mean, 'cause literally right over top of it.
Right.
But I wanted more power, and so I went down and seen a guy in Walnut Grove, Tennessee. He went by Hubcap. He was the well-known technician around back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he was an old fella. And he had his shop in a big garage, and went in there, and the room was filled with smoke. He's in there just smoking away, and just
So, do you live next door to Laura Ingalls in Walnut Grove?
might have. But yeah, Walnut Grove is like maybe 10 miles the other side of Scottsville into Tennessee.
Yeah.
But, he said, "What can I do for you?" So I'm looking for a linear. So I need me a linear. He said, "Follow me, son." He went over to this cabinet. It stood about 8 foot tall, and he opened these doors.
How old are you at this time?
All this pretty much happened that same year. So I was like 93. So
you're
I was like
14,
14.
13, 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I progressed pretty quickly. I wasn't satisfied with the mobile antenna.
And you were still cutting tobacco.
Oh yeah. And he opened up that, and they're set some Palomar amps, mobile amps, and I remember the one that caught my eye was a white Tornado 225. Same Palomar design, silver heat sink, and I asked him how much that one was, and it was either like $95 or $105.
Yeah, but that was back when $100 was.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got, paid like $4 an hour to work in tobacco. It wasn't nothing. So I bought that. My mom drove me back home and hooked it up. And they're like, "Yeah, you're a little bit louder." Of course, going from 150 watts to 250 or whatever ain't going to make no difference.
No difference.
Didn't know that back in the day. Just all you seen was, "Oh, wow, it's 100 more," So it wasn't
I
much.
got to be louder. How do I go about making myself louder?
Yep. So I was talking to a good old friend in Scottsville. Most people called him Smoke Wrench. I just called him Smokey most of the time. He's passed away now, but super good guy.
Smoke Wrench.
Yeah.
How do you come up with that handle?
I don't know. And I was talking to him, and he's like, "Well, I've got a Maverick 250 over here." Of course, I didn't know what that was. He's like, "That'll plug right into the wall, and you can do 700-800 watts." And I said, well, bring it up. Maybe we can do some trading. Well, my voice had already changed by then at that age. I had a deep voice. He didn't know how old I was. Well, he shows up over at the house, and I go outside, and I said, and I started to walk up, and he goes, is your daddy home? And I said, yeah, but I think you're looking for me. And he went like that right there. He goes, oh. He said, you're trucker boy. He said, you're too young to sound like that. And long story short, he come in, we tried out the amp. I had to have it.
Oh, yeah. The needle went further.
Had to have it, yep.
Did you have watt meters by this point?
I believe I had like an old Palomar watt meter that swung to the moon. I think it showed that
500s?
Maverick, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, what was it? It was like 10, 100, and a 500. No, what was the scales on that?
I don't even remember. I know it had holes in the back where you could adjust it to read what you wanted.
Oh, we don't talk about that. No, no. There were accurate meters.
Yeah, they were.
Accurate.
I think they call it, people like them meters, meter baiters.
So was it the 1,000-watt version or the 500-watt version?
I feel like it was the 1,000-watt version because I feel like it showed the Maverick doing more at my house than it did at his.
See, I had the 500-watt version, and I was always trying that was my first venue into, okay, how do we go about adding resistors to knock the meter down so I can get it to read exactly double? So then I built a multiplier on the back. So then at each scale, it would be doubled. I remember teaching myself that. Remember when you used to be able to go to Radio Shack, not Amazon, and buy the big multi-packs of resistors?
Oh, yeah, and they had to pull out drawers, too, with all kinds of
Yeah,
switches and potentiometers.
So I talked one of my parents into buying that for me, and then I had to go through there and figure out, because you're learning resistance values, right? So still to this day, don't know my color code, and I'm not going to lie, I don't care.
I don't either. I got an app on my phone. I go dink, dink, dink.
Have you seen the new one where you can literally just take a picture of it and it tells you? Yes.
AI, man.
No, I just take a voltmeter and read the damn thing. But went in there and figured out how to make a multiplier. That was my very first meter that I learned how to start, diddling around inside the meter to get it to do different things.
Yeah.
Anyhow, back on. Okay, so you got the Maverick.
Oh, I'm just talking away. I'm talking skip everywhere on my little TRC 431.
The antenna burn up. 200-watt antenna, buddy. The 200-watt antenna.
Took the words right out of my mouth. And all of a sudden I unkey and I don't hear nobody.
Yeah.
Don't hear nobody.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm like, wonder what's happened. I'm still young and never experienced a failure like that. And sure enough, I got Dad to climb up there after he spent hours putting that antenna up because he's trying to work around this big TV antenna. And I'm like, it's got to be above that, Dad. It's got to be above. I need it as high as I can get it. But took it down. Sure enough, toasted it.
There goes my phone again.
And so I was down for a little bit and so I think I was down for about a month because I didn't want to buy the same antenna. And at that point, I was not in the know of coppers or none of that. Nobody told me about coppers or HNY at that point, or Candyman out in California. So
coppers is the only thing I knew about when I was a kid. I remember I got a coppers catalog and I bogarted that like it was the Bible.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the? I'm not there yet, but I want to jump subjects for some reason. But do you remember the CB? Well, see, it wasn't CB Tricks. It was the CB. They sold them in Coppers Electronics. It was like the Peek and Tweak Bibles, and they had versions
had the
1 through 6.
Screwdriver or whatever. Screwdriver.
And they were
mods.
printed in that stupid blue print, so you couldn't photocopy them.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember the exact name, but yeah.
Man, I thought I was king of the hill when I got myself a set of them.
Yeah, good
oh,
to go.
Lord. People would bring me their radio, and I'd be like, yeah, hold on, let me get in my voice. Yeah, so if memory serves me, we clip D9, and we put this resistor, and then we adjust R1 and 5 and L. And double what you sound like, anyhow.
Yeah.
All right. You said coppers, and that just took me down that path. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But unfortunately, them books right there, I experimented many times on that TRC 431 because I wanted to know how everything worked,
Right.
It just fascinated me. I mean, I was 14. I eventually killed the radio,
We do these things.
I figured out you don't want to work on them when they're turned on. It's just not a good thing. But, you get in there and turn the inductors. Oh, this makes me have more power. Oh, I can hear better now. And then, oh no, I shorted something out, But you got to start somewhere. And that was at 14.
If I had a list of the things that I've destroyed learning how to repair things, I think you're in the same boat.
You wouldn't be here today though if you hadn't. Trial and error.
I think that's how we all learn. So I've never been ashamed of that. I broke all kinds of shit. But as I famously said last week, there's one person in the radio that'll never admit that he's ever broke anything. Anyhow, so how'd you get a new antenna?
So one of the guys that I knew I'd met on the radio in Bowling Green, he called the house, asked to speak to me, and said he was dying of cancer, and he wanted to know if I wanted to buy some radio equipment. Well, I had some money, but I didn't have enough to buy it all.
What was some money to you back then?
I had like $150 maybe.
Man, you're rich.
But I mean, we did, by the time I was 15, I raised my own tobacco crop. 15, 16, 17.
No shit.
That's how I bought my first vehicle.
No shit, I didn't know that.
100%, yeah.
Really?
Raised my own tobacco crop.
How much dirt were you moving around to?
It was small. It was just like,
Man, you got a lot of cool radios in here.
yeah, all them on that shelf, and the ones behind you are mail-ins, which I'm not taking any mail-ins now, hence the reason so many here. We just work on the mail-ins.
Why would you fix that radio?
Man, sometimes people just
It's a realistic TRC4 what? 422.
Probably sentimental value. And of course, when I get into it,
I do a couple of those. Like they'll send me their. I don't work on sweep tubes anymore because they're so delicate. But
yeah.
If they call me up and said, "Hey man, this was my dad's," or "Hey man, this was my uncle's," or my mom talked. I've done one for a mom, and believe it or not, there are radio operators out there that are female, and they're cool, but like really cool. Yeah, sentimental. I get it.
Oh yeah. I mean, of course, sometimes you get into them radios, and it's just like gonna be so labor intensive. You call them, and
where you can't find the parts, like the LED segmented displays, or God help them if they have a broken channel switch.
Yep.
I mean, thank God I got people like you, like on that kind of deal. I'd be able to call you or Zane.
Yeah.
And be able to find that exact part. I mean, Zane's like a weasel, dude. He can find anything. Yeah. Well, yeah, dude, you've never been to his shop.
No, I've got to get out there.
So imagine about this much space, just this one room. It's his shop, but the ceilings are much taller, and it's floor to ceiling totes, like row after row after row of totes and stuff. Just stuff. I mean, like, I don't care. I need a part for anything. I call him. He's like, "Yep, I got one. It might take me a couple days to find it, but I got one." I don't know how he keeps it all square in his head. He's got a whole semi-dry van full of parts. It's like a whole 50-foot trailer full of...
Got more stuff than he knows.
Yeah. Okay, so you're now getting ready to tell us how you burned up your first Gamma match. Am I lying?
I'm trying to think if I burned up a Gamma. I don't think I did, actually. Of course, I didn't have that amp wouldn't do me like 1700 PEP.
You were close.
Yeah.
Those Gammas are only 1500 watts.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I don't believe I did. But then I started tinkering more with radios and amps.
Did you, back to the Moonraker real quick, did you ever hear about the backdoor kit and build one of those and put it on the back of the antenna?
No, I just had the single wire.
So somebody back home told me that if you measured out, the fiberglass boom that was the Moonraker is a YAG and a quad smashed together, which is a horrible design, but they work.
Yeah, they work well.
So if you take the reflector and if you measure in on each element 6 inches and then put another ring of copper wire, then come down another 6 inches and put another, and all the way into the center.
Yeah.
They call that a backdoor kit.
Yeah.
Well, I put that up there. My God, you cannot hear anything from the back side of that antenna. It's like a wall. What's that do to the pattern? Nobody knows, but
yeah.
Okay, so you never went down that rabbit hole.
No, I never went down that route. I mean, I know Tom at Mako sells that one of those kits for the Mako antennas.
Should have asked him that when I interviewed him. He's another really good guy, like salt of the earth, good dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get up and meet him. at 5 the hard way this year. I'll try to make that break.
When is that break? I thought it was this week.
If it is, then I'm not going to make it. I hope it wasn't this week.
Yeah, I think it's this week.
Oh. Won't make it then.
I ain't doing no breaks this year, so I'm all focused on business and things.
Yeah.
Breaks take a lot of time, and they're not.
It does.
I've had fun at every break I've ever been to, but after hosting the largest break on the West Coast for 6 years consecutively, and then hosting the break 10 years in total, I'm a little burned out. It's a lot different to host it versus.
Oh yeah, a lot. And you have to have. If you don't have help, then you're just going to run yourself ragged.
Yeah, I had 5 guys that helped me put that on, and then everybody either got sick or died or whatever, and I just lost the. It was a lot of fun the first couple of years, but I just lost it. I just didn't. I'm glad they got their own thing going on now, but no breaks this year.
Yeah. Phone just blowing you up, isn't it?
Just gotta keep shooting the video. I mean, nobody called me yesterday at all. My phone didn't. I think my phone rang like 3 times yesterday.
I put mine on Do Not Disturb because I knew if I didn't.
Oh yeah. Well, you're more popular than me, dude.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember when nobody knew who either one of us were. Okay, so you were getting ready to burn your gammas up on the Moonraker. Sorry, I interrupted you again. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. I started tinkering with radios, and of course I tore up my 431 experimenting. So I'd heard about this guy in Louisville who was really good working on radios. Guy's name was Nomad Radio.
Same Nomad we have today.
Yep, same Nomad. He's still chugging along. When I went up there, he fixed the radio, and next thing I know, he's starting to show me all this stuff. Well, if you do this, here's the results, and you can do that, this is what you'll get. So, a big credit to Nomad, a little one, Nomad Radio, for helping me down the path that I started down. I mean, he showed me so many little tricks to the trade to get me going. Still had to make several trips up there throughout the years. But that dude right there, sharp as a tack. Hard to get into him, he's very busy. I think he's laid back a whole lot on work. But if you've ever been up there, then he's got so much equipment, junk radios, good radios, just a little pathway to walk through. Mm-hmm. But he taught me so much.
Why does that everybody that's in this hobby that does like what we do, no matter how hard they try, eventually that's what their shop turns into?
I know, and I'm going to try to avoid that.
You don't have that going on now. You got pathways through all your inventory. But
yeah. Yep, it happens, and I'm going to try to avoid that. I threw away tons of junk radios after I've robbed important parts out of them.
Right.
I'm not keeping that stuff forever. Nope, not going to do it. But
it's like, how many part Cobra 29 radios do you really need?
Exactly. But next thing new, I was working on radios for locals. Not as much amps, but just radios. And, by then I was 15, 16, 17, and people were bringing me radios left and right. And I'd work on them, fix them, and give them back to them. They were just tickled to death to have somebody around that could, wire their mics and all this and that. And still had to make trips up to see Chris, Nomad. There would be some stuff I couldn't fix, and go up there and be like, Chris, I need you to help me with this. And he would fix it, show me how he fixed it. So between him and doing tons of reading and trial and error, because everybody says, where'd you go to school at for this? No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
I did not go to school. It was
At
experience, help from a few individuals.
So you're an autodidact, self-taught technician.
Yep.
And I think there's really something solid to that. Because I've seen the guys that come from classic electronic repair, like they've been educated and schooled, and they've got they don't make it.
No.
They can't, it's primarily the people, but they don't have the people skills to be able to, but they don't understand that there's some rules that we can bend a little bit and some others that we can break a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to setting her up a radio, and they can't handle it. Like they don't understand that.
No.
They're so used to everything has to be set just the way the service manual says.
80% modulation, and that just doesn't work for CBers. You know,
So when you were reading, what books were you reading when you were a kid? Or magazines?
reading all them Lou Franklin books. You know, the Screwdriver Experts books, and
I'm not familiar with those. I'm going to look that up
with
now.
Lou Franklin. Oh yeah.
What about Sam's manuals? You ever find that useful?
You know, I was into them a little bit, but I never did really keep many of the photo facts books around. But then finally, of course, the internet come around, and I was able to look a lot on there and print out schematics and different things.
Remember when you could actually find shit on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be pretty easy to find. Now there's so much junk on there. And then, look, gosh forbid you get on the forums and start believing what this one says
Lord.
versus that one. And everybody's got their own opinion. There's different ways to do things. I mean, but it...
Jump subjects again.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Ranger base stations here. Like, a lot. When did they switch from the really crappy iron core power supply that had the shitty voltage regulators in it and was really famous for catching on fire to now I see they're using 30 amp switch modules and everything?
Several years now. Of course, your turbos, your 2990s, and then your earliest model, the RCI 2995, had the iron core. So they still didn't learn their lesson then, you know. And 2N3771 passive transistors, they would blow all the time.
All the time.
But
I used to have a whole drawer full of them when I worked at the CB shop.
I can't give you an exact answer. Probably a decade ago.
If you turn that radio up, even in the slightest, it would overload that supply.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And of course, all the screwdriver awards, Golden Screwdriver Award people, they get in there. Oh, I turned my voltage up to 15 and a half.
No, blow up.
Yep, blows it up. Poof. There goes your power supply.
Like 14.9 was about as far as you can go, and then you were flirting with the devil's taint, in my opinion, at that point. You're going to get burned, literally.
Even when Ranger came out with the 2985 base, which was a 30 watt PEP version of the 2995, you know, had the keypad and everything. You know, even though it didn't have an amp, the passive 2N 3771 still go up and smoke like crazy.
So, what was the first one that they did, the two finals? The tool, it was like two 2290s or 2879s in the back of it. It was like the Saturn Turbo something.
Yeah, it was the Galaxy Saturn Turbo. They did 2290s, Toshiba's in it.
God, we used to hot rod the crap out of them things.
And then Ranger had the 2990 out at the same time, which Ranger did the Galaxies. So they just put RCI-2990 on them and sold them there.
Do you know what the story was with was it Summer Camp?
I don't know exactly what I know they were imported.
Remember that came out for a long time.
Yeah.
They had the rain, and they were exactly the same.
Yeah.
But they were the Summer Camp.
I think it's a lot of what we deal with right now with your Anytones and there's all these other brands I can't even think off the top of my head that are the exact same radio. It's just if you bought enough, you can put whatever name you want on it and put truckerized on them. You know.
Well, yeah.
Yep, summer camps, they was like RCI 2950 mobiles, you know, is what they were. They had that 2960 that was made overseas that wasn't supposed to be exported to the U.S., but there's some of them floating around.
What was the one that had the big tall heat sink on the bottom of it?
The RCI 2960 had one, but then the 2970 was the one that looked like the 2950 with the keypad and the display.
Yeah, but then it had a really tall heat sink
with
on the bottom.
two 2290s.
Yeah. Convert a lot of them to 4-pillars.
I'll bet.
A lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, now them radios worked good when they didn't have cold solder joints.
That was the bane of their existence. Yeah. And the potentiometers always had cold solder joints, and then it was the audio chip that I had. I had a friend of mine that had a little S10, and man, it was like once a week he would bring that thing to me because the audio chip was mounted right there on the side of the frame where the thumb screws went through, and from him bouncing his truck around all the time. So I finally ended up taking a wire and putting these loops.
Yeah.
So the audio chip and the board could flex separately, but it's the same thing with the 2970. Then it had all the extra weight because it was hanging off the 5 screws that hold the bottom of the case on.
Yeah. Seeing a lot of them boards where them screws to the board. Seeing a lot of the boards break there.
I've seen one in a wreck one time where the heat sink looked like the tin looked like it had 4 little titties on it, where the heat sink just went, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The heat sink was like 6-8 inches deep. So, okay. So I met you when we were both in our 30s.
Yeah. I guess that's probably 31, 32. It's been 12, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're up to about what? About 18, 17, 18?
Yeah. So I'm doing all that, you know. I got to a point when I turned 18, 17, 18, I was distracted by women and
You discovered titties.
stereo systems. So
When'd you get into racing? About the same
how
age?
did I get into racing? My first vehicle was an 86 Toyota pickup extended cab, which I bought with my money for selling my tobacco.
Oh, the Back to
crop.
the Future truck.
Yep, it was burgundy though, and 2-wheel drive, so I didn't get the cool 4-wheel drive jacked up.
Did it rot out over the fender wells? Like,
Yeah, it was like it when I got it, yeah.
no, okay, so it's pre-worn in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was a 4-speed, and I put some truck stop coil antenna on top of it, only for somebody at school to steal it. And then they were so bright that they
Put it on their own vehicle?
yeah, but they, instead of it being chrome and all this stuff, they painted it flat black. So I was like, oh, there's my antenna.
I'll just take that back now.
Yeah, but so got all that squared away, and he apologized to me, and I'm like, whatever. But had me 2 12-inch Jensen subs behind the seat of my,
Jensen, man, I haven't heard that name.
yeah,
Man.
yep, that and can't remember the amp. But anyway, so I kind of got sidetracked from radio a little bit, doing a lot of running around, chasing women, you know, and
You're the age.
yep. But then I get back in it, you know, which I always stayed real close contact with my fellow CB buddies that I met. Wishbone was one of the most impactful in my life. He passed away a few years ago. He was in Brownsville, Kentucky. Went by
I remember
Wishbone.
that, yeah.
And he lived, breathed, dreamed CB radio. I mean, anything. He knew anything and everything about it. You know, as far as you know, he had the Moonrakers up and Dosey watt meters, and had the 22B radio, and he had do you remember Steve out in California that built amps for a while? Did the
Steve what?
I can't think of his last name, but he did the LA 900s. He did the
Yes, I know
the
exactly.
Super Cobras.
Yep, I know
Okay.
exactly who you're talking about.
Well, somehow or another, he got hooked up with him and had him build a 5-tube Z-Box pirate amp. And I ended up owning it for a while. That was really cool. I mean, to me, it was really cool. But poor guy waited 2 years for it. And by the time he got it, the guys that he wanted to, like, kind of key down with, and they had done either passed away or quit radio. And he would stay up all night trying to tune it. And we kept telling him, you need to put bigger gammas on it. And he had the stock gammas on it. And they ended up going up in smoke. Ended up burning up Dosey meters. He ended up getting a Bulldog meter, if you're familiar with them.
Very
Had all the
Bulldog
switches on
because
it.
of you.
Yep.
I remember when you used to shoot all your videos of Bulldog meters.
Yep. Carl Motzinger was the gentleman that built them out of Old Hickory, Tennessee.
I bought 5 of those in an estate one time, and I ended up giving them all to Zane, and Zane had to go because they all had different things, little things wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like the needle was broken. That was a great meter for what it was for its time.
For what it was, yes. For its time, yeah.
Very accurate too.
Yeah, which
If it was set up properly, somebody hadn't screwdrivered it. It was dead on the money.
Because it did have a potentiometer for each setting, so
Yeah.
somebody gets in there, they can make it do. But I mean, he bought that meter, and he was just tickled to death the way it worked. But that dude, me and him would go eat catfish every Friday night. He loved catfish. He always wanted, it had to be really hot when he got it, and he gave it a minute to cool off. He was just real particular about everything. And he wouldn't go out in public unless he had time to trim his beard exactly perfect. Never wanted a hair out in place. But me and him spent so many nights just talking, and you know, I always say I was driving at that point, and sometimes I would just leave at midnight and go up to his house. We'd do some trading, and that went on all the way up into my early 30s, but, you know, while he was still living. I mean, sometimes I would just leave 11 o'clock at night, drive the 30 minutes, and we'd do some wheeling and dealing or just sit around and talk. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of close friends that have passed, you know, Big Mac in Smiths Grove. He was another good one. But all them people kept me interested in it. Kept me out of trouble too, because at 16, 17, 18,
Protecting you.
19, wow, a lot of my buddies out drinking, doing whatever. Not that I didn't have a few drinks, but I would be Friday nights eating fish with my buddies on the CB, and I'd be shooting skip Saturday, Sundays, where some of the other buddies were out getting wild. So
I was always busy with radio as a kid. Same thing. And looking back at it, I could see that what it was is they were trying to kind of keep me from getting in trouble. So like when the wild times would come, they would make sure that it was done in a safer environment for me.
oh yeah,
You know, looking at it now that we're in the position where we're at Elmer, and like, I don't know, I've had 20 something students at this point. You've got quite a few people that you're working with too, and you try to educate them on, okay, hey, look, this is how you handle this, and this is how you handle that, and really think about doing it this way. And we're passing those lessons on, right?
right,
The same thing.
right.
What's up, buddy?
What you doing, partner? We over here still talking to the camera.
He's a creature.
Yeah, what you doing?
Just like you.
Yeah,
You're,
I'm still shooting that video.
I thought you were done, so I was...
Not
so,
yet. See, it's looking at you.
I thought you were done, so I came down here to ask you if you could get that Fanta.
It's in the refrigerator, isn't it?
Oh, Fanta.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's in
I
the
forgot I
refrigerator.
can just
Yeah.
grab it and just drink it.
Yep, so, like I said, I was blessed to meet so many people. Sad that a lot of the older generation's gone. But, you know, still a lot of them around. Got Dozer Man in Glasgow. You know, he's like 82, I think, 16 in Elizabethtown. I think 78, 79, and he does my assembly on my antennas. Does a really good job. Does some other stuff for me. Got Long John. He does my packing and unpacking. But
When'd you meet Charles?
that's a long time ago.
That guy's a legend, dude. And nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah, he's like one of the best hobby's best kept secrets. You know.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
few other people we know that prefer to fly under the radar. You may be sitting there talking on one of his antennas that he might have built before he even knew me. He used to build quad antennas, you know, but he wasn't like Larry out in California as far as having the reach to a lot of the tooling and stuff that Larry does. But the dude could just take a bunch of scrap parts, build a quad antenna, and just talk on it.
So we're talking about Moron Made, right?
They weren't then.
Well, no, that's who we're talking about now.
Yeah, Charles Whitehead does the Moron made antennas for us, the 4, 5, and 6 element beams. But before that, he was all about the quads.
My favorite story with him was when we were in Manchester, and I can't even say it on camera because it'll embarrass other people. But his favorite line was, and I don't know who that sumbitch is, but he was way too young to work for me.
Oh, yep.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what story I'm talking about.
Timelines don't lie. Timelines don't lie. Timelines can't be altered. You know?
Yeah, especially when you're 30 years too young to work at some place. But
Yeah.
so I noticed your beautiful radio you got going on. That's your radio behind you, by the way.
Yeah, that's transceiver, not just an SDR receiver. Get a lot of people when I go live that say, "What dongle are you using?" I'm like, "Not using a dongle," because they want to use that software.
Yeah.
But it's Thetis is the software. Some people call it Thetis, and it utilizes this Apache Labs 97000 DLE Mark II, and just some.
And you're a big proponent of the Hermes too, right?
Yeah, Hermes just a shrunk down version, or this. There's a square SDR up there.
Point at it so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Right, that little guy up there. 5 watts of power.
Thunder and love.
Yeah.
So tell me about what's going on with the radio you got on the workbench at the moment. What's the story there?
The Longhorn. So that's a Longhorn Superior N6 by Ranger. The Superior part comes from my friend Chris out in California, Superior
We all know
CB.
Chris. He's a good dude. Yeah.
Design the amp section. Get out, buddy. So apparently coming down the pipeline is due to tariffs and then increase in cost of parts, that Ranger was going to have to go up substantially on the price of the Longhorn.
Right.
So we don't believe at this point that the importer is going to import any more Longhorns. It's not set in stone yet. And the reason I say that is because I was told 3 years ago, oh, the 99N4 is being discontinued. And once I told everybody, they decided not to discontinue it. But as of right now, like I think I've got like 18 Longhorns in stock. That's going to be
more
it.
than that.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, plus whatever that is. Yeah, I got some that delivered yesterday. So, so basically, come here, Finn. You want to be in the camera? Come on. There you go. So basically, my concern is that that may be the last of the Mohicans, the most powerful 10-meter mobile ever produced.
I don't know. The one I built does 1,250 watts.
Well, mass produced. Here we go.
Okay, there we go. Mass produced.
Mass produced. And, you know, it does 700 to 800 watts. But, so I just went ahead and called them up and said, send me every one that you have.
It's video 666, by the way. That was the 666th video I'd ever put out.
Oh, boy.
Was the 1 KW Plus radio I built mobile.
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
It was
it was
a
a big deal.
monster.
Me and Zane put that together. That was a fun weekend. Just to prove it could be done.
But you got to feed that beast with some big wire.
The fan, I don't understand that, man. The fan, like, these guys that want a 1,000-watt radio, but then they don't realize that they're going to have a 4-inch fan blowing at 7,000
Yeah,
RPM
they're
to
like,
keep it
the
cool
fan's
2 inch
too
from their
loud.
head.
It's too loud. The fan's too loud.
Fan too loud. Well, okay, then your radio is going to burn to the ground. No,
Yep.
it won't. I'll put it on the switch. I'll remember to turn on. No, you won't. Blows up. Anyhow.
But, yeah, I mean.
So when did you decide that you were going to really kind of? I remember because I was there, but I was involved at that point. But you flirted with this on the side for how many years?
Forever, it seems like. I mean,
So your whole life.
my whole life. There was a few years on and off between 18 and 22, 24 that I took some time off from it, but not over like 6 months, and I'd be back in it, you know. But, you know, of course, we launched the website right when COVID hit, just for no.
Yeah, but you were big as hell before that, though. You were
Yeah.
busy.
And it was.
Man, I remember a couple breaks you went to. You'd pull up, nobody would spend any money until they seen what you brought with you.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Go to these breaks, and I had a 30 by 40, like a firework tent I'd set up, bring 12 tables, and set up all kinds of new merchandise, used merchandise, all the little stuff that nobody wanted to order online, you know,
Yeah,
mic
like 50
plugs.
amp Anderson clips and
Yeah, all
mic
that
plugs
stuff.
and mic adapters, and I remember.
And it was a lot of work, though, unloading it enclosed trailer. Then you had to worry about weather. It was
Gonna
exhausting.
get wet? Is it, you know?
Got to meet a lot of great people, though.
A
Going to the
lot of
breaks.
really cool people, and then a couple really sour
Yeah,
apples.
yeah. I mean, take the good with the bad and all that. It happens, but
So then you decided that you were oh man, first you were talking about location. You wanted to open up like a roadside truck stop shop. And I remember because we have our other mutual friend, Zane at Big Rig,
yeah,
and he had that kind of system going on at that time. And I'm like, you're already so successful with what you got going on. Like, I don't think you realized how busy you were then. And you were still you were at AutoZone, right?
I was a commercial manager at AutoZone for over a decade, so I would work there 8, 9, 10 hours, and then come home
Yeah.
and work till 2 in the morning.
And then you got robbed by that dealership. They literally picked you because you knew somebody at the dealership. And
I went to work for Southern Kentucky Collision
yeah,
as their parts manager. I used to provide them with parts, so they knew me through AutoZone.
Right.
They're a family-owned business there at Southern Kentucky. Took me under their wing and just immediately just loved it. Loved all the employees there.
You were so happy, but
Super happy.
You
but
wanted to do this, what you're doing now.
I was working 18 hours a day between both places. Is the only way that I could.
AutoZone, you were working 18 to 20 hours, and then
Yeah.
when you went to work for them, you slowed down on this for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But then, that's a big leap.
Yeah.
I've done it.
It's scary when you have kids.
I've done it. I remember I did it first. I was the first one to step off because I thank God for my boss, Randy Colson, best guy I've ever known as far as a boss. He realized it was taking me a little bit to get to that point, so he kept me around for whatever. But
Yeah.
and he's told me to. I talked to him the other day. He's like, "You want to come back?" I'm like, "No," but he kept me on to where I was ready to step off, and
Right.
that is a. I'm so broken now I can never work for anybody else ever again. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I will never work. I don't care. I will figure
Yeah.
out how to do it on my own. I don't care what it is. The radio thing peters out, which I know it won't. I will always work for myself the rest of my life. I cannot work. I don't know about you. I'm broken.
Yeah, that's me. As much fun I had working for Southern Kentucky and how much I felt at home, and they would welcome me back with open arms right now, and I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
Same
I
here.
just don't know that I could ever, not work for myself again. And they were very accommodating. They knew one day that I would end up just doing it because I had to make up my mind. I'm like, there was no way I could continue to handle the volume of sales with truckcvsales.com and continue to work 8, 9, 10 hours at Southern Kentucky Collision. Something had to give. And if I didn't make the leap to do this full time, Truck CV Sales, then I would never know if I could have made it or not, and all the joys from it. I mean, I thought I enjoyed it before. I enjoy it so much more now.
I love it now.
All the people you get to meet, that's the greatest thing, is the interesting people, their stories. Super rare to get a hold of somebody that's rude now. It does happen,
Right.
but it is rare.
Right.
The good-
No, we don't. We used to deal with that a lot. You guys don't understand those in YouTube land. We would sit there and talk for hours at night when we would both be working, because we were both working full-time
Yeah.
jobs and still trying to pull this off on the side. And we would talk about the struggles that we would go through commonly, and the rude people. Like, we could sit here for 5 hours and tell stories. Mind-blowing stories.
Yeah. And,
Nobody's rude anymore. No, they did.
no, the rudest was when the Facebook era was, where
When it first started.
when it first started, and keyboard warriors and all that. But at some point, you realize it's so lopsided how many good people versus the few bad eggs. Well, them good people were quick to chime in and say, "Hey, leave my boy alone. Leave Truck alone. Leave BBI alone. This dude's done great work." So you just kind of realize, let them speak.
So it was interesting because the keyboard warriors were, for a moment, they had a lot of attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how they took that attention, instead of capitalizing on trying to use it for anything remotely positive, they channeled it into just basically hate groups.
Yeah.
And then very quickly the whole community figured out that there was at the time, at the peak, there was about 15 or 20 people that were the center of all of these hate groups.
Mm-hmm.
In the background running it. So like one guy had one group, another guy had another group, but they were all the same team.
Right.
And that's all faded now.
Yeah, then a lot of them got to fighting with each other, because when you take some bad eggs and mix them all together, they don't get along either when it comes down
Right.
to it.
Right.
And I'm a forgiving person. I don't forget, but I forgive. If I run across one of them on the street and they say something to me, I'll just speak back. I mean, that's just the way I am. And some people are different. Some people are just like, screw you, don't ever talk to me again. But it's just all depends on your personality, but it takes all the different personalities. Like you was talking about, I'm passive and you're not passive. Well, that's what makes the world go round. If everybody was passive, it would be a sad place,
Well, at
If
some point
everybody-
or another, somebody in the population is going to stand
Yeah.
up and fight.
If everybody was aggressive,
Right.
then we'd all be at war, all the
Right,
time.
right. Well,
So,
I would rather not have conflict.
yeah.
But in the same breath, I would refuse to be scared
Yeah.
Ever.
Exactly. Oh yeah. I'm not.
or threatened.
Yeah.
I don't do well with those two things. You don't.
Yeah.
Those are poor life choices, right? On your part, if that's the way you're going to go about handling yourself. And no, no, it's. So when did you decide that you were going to actually make this step? I mean, I was there, but you got to fill it in for everybody that's watching this.
So.
Because what it's developed into, man, glad you did.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself because you work hard, man.
I worked hard and lost a lot of time. I tried my best to spend all the time I could with the kids. Like when I get off work at 4 from the public job, try to spend time till like 8 o'clock because they usually went to bed at 8 for school, and then start hammering out till 12, 1, 2 in the morning. But once COVID hit, all that money was being given out, and that's just happened to be when I started the actual website.
Yeah.
10 or 12 radios a day, you know, and they all get modded. It'd be different if you just packed them up and sent them out the door, you know, selling twice as many radios a day that you could do in a day. When it come to all these mods.
I sold everything I had. If it wasn't bolted down, it went out the door. And so did everybody else that was in that business.
Oh, yeah. And I just finally decided I had to make the step. Went to my boss, Landon and Roger, and they totally understood because they're both businessmen. Super hated to lose me, and I'm like, guys, y'all have never done nothing but be golden to me. I mean, that was, and they both helped me out a lot too in my business as far as me picking up some of the things that Roger, who was Landon's father, been running so many, you know, businesses, business deals, and I took a lot of that and adapted it over to what I do. And they were always there to support me and help me. And I went and bought that 5,000 square foot building in Glasgow, Kentucky. Like we started to talk a while ago, had this great ambition. It was a gun shop and a gun range. And if some of these guys watching this video have not seen the,
I'm going to put it in there. Don't worry.
there you go. So I won't ruin the surprise, but
Oh, no. I come up there to visit one time, and boy, I'm glad we didn't do the video that day for like a lot of different reasons, because I'm really glad to be doing it now.
yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Right. And that was just like the taillight getting ripped out on my truck yesterday, day before yesterday, right? If that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have stayed here an extra day. I wouldn't have felt more relaxed enough to be here to shoot this video with you. Like I told you, I said, I found in life, if you don't flow with it,
Yeah.
move heaven and earth, I'll get down the road and then there's a tornado, a hurricane, flood, or somebody runs into me and whatever. I just chill
Right.
and roll with it, right? It all happens for a reason, but no, I did one of these grand tours, what was it, 2-3 years ago I did one of these things? I do this about once a year, don't I?
Yeah.
And I found out my buddy Brian Smith owned an indoor gun range. I was like, have you ever shot at your indoor gun range that you own? No. Brian, we have to take some guns to your indoor gun range before you turn it into a CB shop and go shoot in your indoor gun range.
It was cool.
And we did. And I think we did more damage to the squirrel than we did. Poor squirrel. I'll put the video in here.
He's still having PTSD, I guarantee it.
Oh, I guarantee you.
I just had this big aspiration to have this presentation, to walk in this big shop, you know, with my display cases and all this. And, you know, we framed up the walls, big camera. We framed up the walls, put a big new heating and air unit in.
It was going to be beautiful, is what it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, then I got thinking, man, I am so busy. I am so busy with online sales. If I took the time out to, you know, without hiring a bunch of people, time out to go out to look at somebody's truck, do an install, I would lose tons of my customers because, you know, when I'm busy, there's still a 6 to 8 week wait on builds. Right now is the best time to buy a radio, by the way. A week or less on wait time.
That's across the board. It
Oh, yeah.
slows down every summer.
Every summer. Me and D-Rail talked about it. Zane, everybody, we need this time. If we didn't have this time, we'd be in a bad shape come
Yeah, see,
fall.
when I get home, I got to hit the ground because fall rolls around, everything changes.
Yep. It'll be right here on before you know it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I just knew if I do this, as much as it sounded great in my mind to have this big walk-in shop like, Walcott, I do a lot of custom work. And it's not just a wham bam thank you ma'am thing.
So I stopped by Walcott on the way here.
Yeah.
And from what they told me, that they only do installs, but it's got to be scheduled weeks in advance. And they've only got 1 or 2 guys that do it. And no, they won't set your SWRs if you come by. That they're primarily focused on showroom sales and online sales.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to get to the point to where I felt like I had to rush on somebody's build because I had to go out and help a customer or stop in the middle of a build.
Yep.
I want to build every radio with just as much finesse that I built when I was, 30 years old, Of course, I've learned a lot even since 30. I learn every day. But I knew
the radios have changed too.
Oh, yeah.
Their construction, the components. Like in our lifetime, we've watched them go from legit transistors, like bipolar transistors running the whole thing, to now everything's MOSFET.
Yep.
And I remember that transition day, like the rear ends of these radios used to be so delicate. God, how many finals do you think you changed in that little 3-year window? It was crazy.
Yeah, tons. Now we
And
got
then the transistors have gotten better, and then the radio designs have gotten better, and everything's got more surface mount. And of
Yep.
course, we can remember when there was a 955 that was a new radio. And what are they on? Version 4 now? 3, 4?
You get your 955 V1s, V2s, now your 3s, which are plus radios. So it's HPC plus now.
And the boards just get smaller, the parts
Yep.
are getting smaller.
Yep. And I love the surface mount stuff. D-Rail, D-Win, they love the surface mount because we can work on them. But a lot of guys can't stand
see
them.
it. Can't see.
Oh yeah, I got a little headset I put on.
Yeah, same here.
But something about that's peaceful though. When I put that on, it's like everything else is gone, and I'm just staring at the board, and I don't know. I can't really explain it, but you don't have to worry about cold solder joints with the surface mount components.
As much.
Yeah, as much. The Striker's got a bad name with version 1 because they had a problem with the channel selectors for a while.
They had problems with everything. They were teething out. They were a new company.
Yeah, new company.
Do we ever figure out his real name? It ain't Sean.
I don't know. Some things we're just not meant to know, I guess.
Nothing that we're going to talk about on camera.
Yeah.
That was, and then we went through the whole pop riveted in components problem, and
Where they
right,
pop riveting the voltage regulators
and the
in.
finals and the everything. Yeah.
That was the worst. Which Stryker listened to me, he listened to D-Rail, and whoever else told him, and
Hi,
they
how
get
you
away with
doing?
it quick.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I called Sean. I said, dude, what the hell?
I'm like,
I said, do you know who I am? Do you need me to do a YouTube video about this? No. We're doing a complete recall on it. And he was Johnny on the spot with me. He drop shipped me new radios, and I'm like, how did that even? Anyhow, they made it right, and he learned from all of that. And then the next version radio, they'd fix the next. They've come a long ways.
yeah. And some people hate Ranger, some people love Ranger. Ranger makes the Superstar line, the Galaxy line. They do all that. But Ranger does a good job at listening to my ideas as well. Or if I hear from, 350 down in Georgia, hey, Brian, what about that? That's another thing. 350 in Georgia,
They listen to you. They listen to D-Rail. Like, when I was there at D-Rails, I didn't show it on camera, but, he had one of the first prototype Strikers there that they sent him to go through and play with. 1, 2, and 3. And, like, he's got 3 ring binders where they wrote down all the notes that they'd pass forward, I just came from part of the country where one of the gentlemen really cannot stand any export radio being used to drive into any amplifier. And that goes back to the old days of, well, we were just talking about, the Rangers and the Galaxies and whatnot, that the TBI traps, people would get in there and finger part around in the back end of the radio, and it caused all of the problems down chain.
Yeah.
Right? So, in his mind, the best radio for CB ever built is Cobra 29. In your opinion, what's the best radio ever built for CB radio?
caught me off guard there. I'm more of a newer style guy. I guess Cobras are okay, but a lot of the problems with the exports back in the day, most of your techs didn't use spectrum analyzers.
Didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. So they're throwing out spurs everywhere. Of course, it's going to raise all kinds of gain. You go put that in an amplifier and amplify that.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as current production, it's going to be really hard.
No, ever. What's your
Ever.
best radio ever?
I think overall, because I'm more of an AM guy, even though it's got sideband, I really like the Galaxy 98 VHP. You know, with a 225 watt radio, screaming loud audio, crystal clear when they're set up right. But you know, I wouldn't want one for sideband. You know, I guess I don't really have a favorite. I don't. I mean, you know, some guys are like, oh, I love the Cobra 2000. I like the way the receive sounded on the Cobra 2000, and
I thought they were cool because they had a clock in them.
yeah,
And they had the decade counter, not a freak counter. It's a decade counter, you guys.
yep.
That doesn't even work on the transmit RF. It works on the PLL lock loop. But, I mean, I thought that was neat. For their time, they were really advanced.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And
Okay, so let me ask you this. Are you a 2950 guy or an HR 2510 guy?
I am not an HR 2510 guy at all. And nothing against my bradas out there in Hawaii. Aloha to all you, because that's a big thing over there. They love their 2510s.
Oh, yeah, they do. Aloha, bros.
And what's his name up here in New York? Roger Bird or whatever did all the mods. I just never was a 2510 guy.
They came out at the same time, and I went Ranger because of the layout, the accessibility of the display, and the easeability, like that's a word, how easy they were to convert.
I've always been a fan of the 2950 series boards, whether it be in the 2950s, the 2970s. That was also in the Galaxy 22B. That was in the RCI 2990. That was in the Galaxy Saturn Turbo. They did have problems with cold solder joints after a while, but you unlock the clarifier, line it up. They was great on sideband for their time. You know, then they evolved into the surface mount board. So now it's your 2970 N2s, your 2970 N4s, your 2995 DX HPs, the old CFs, your RCI 2985s. They all had the same board. Super stable, clean.
So then what's your problem with the X9 HP?
Man, it is a lot of radio, a lot of power in a small cabinet. You know, you've got an amp board in there with, you know, 4 MOSFETs. It's really warm.
I've been teasing Brian for a week, saying, "Yeah, man, I'll bring you your amp, but the only thing I'm going to charge you is like I want a radio." And my other friend Alex brought one by my shop, and I don't know. I like how they look. I don't know why. There's something about them I like how they look, and I got to play with one. So I've been teasing Brian because he's got a shelf in there with like 50 of them sitting in there. Right.
Well, with an online store, you can't just have 1 or 2. I mean,
Oh, there's people out there that would like to believe that. Yeah, no. So no, I've been teasing him about that all week, but he's like, "Are you sure you want that radio? Are you really, really sure?" And I'm like, "Why?"
yeah, I'm not real crazy about the receiver on them. They got a little bit of white noise. Some guys love them that I sell them to. They love them. But if you're going to use it just for a bench radio to drive your amp, if you're wanting to use it in your truck,
dually.
yeah, I'm not crazy about the receiver. Of course, I love the receiver on the Strikers.
You can't do the Shockey diode upgrade. Blah, blah, blah.
No, not on that.
Remember when you were doing that on every
Oh,
radio?
yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I still got plenty of those up there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I restocked on them whenever I brought back the 88 HL because I thought I need to do that as an automatic upgrade. Well, ended up, they went ahead and upgraded that before they shipped them out. So they all come with the Shockey diode upgrades.
Yeah.
Those, man,
That
in
was
my-
shocking.
yeah.
So we got down a rabbit hole and it's getting ready to wrap this up. So the whole like last 20 minutes of what our conversation was, the camera didn't record it. So where we left off, to all of you in YouTube land, was
X9.
the X9. You don't like the receiver, too much white noise in it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like an ideal radio compared to the receive on a Striker or any tone or.
Yeah, but I've already got enough Strikers to
29.95.
gag a maggot. Built by everybody too. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite Striker in the world's D-Rails radio. I mean,
he has mastered all the little
Mastered.
mods and everything that but he's got a lot of R&D in it.
I mean, I tell the story all the time about when I went down there. The last time I went down there, I sat there and watched him. He literally took every component in the audio chain out and then put all brand new parts back in for the whole circuit. And when he was done, I picked the radio up. You can't copy that. Parts are too small,
Yep.
and his solder work is too good.
Yep.
And thank God he's young enough to where he can see. Because
Yep.
he's way younger than us.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when we were the new guys.
Is he like 29 or 30? 28, 29,
Early
30?
30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, look at what he's done with himself since we met him.
I know. Exploded. I told him, though.
I feel
years
like I'm
ago.
lagging behind when I get around him because we all come up at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But that just feeds into the same thing to stay humble. But yeah, man, him and his brother, his brother taking over the coax side of things.
Yes.
Thank God.
Somebody had to.
I got tired of talking about it. I mean, he slid right in there like he's been there the whole time. You know, it just good for him, good for both of them.
Oh, yeah. All that stuff right there keeps the hobby going. You know, it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, somebody will call me and say, hey, can I swing by and get a mic wired? I'm in a big truck. I don't have big truck parking. I don't take walk-ins.
Right.
But I direct them to a guy at exit 58. He can do all that little stuff. It takes everybody to keep it going.
There's enough. You've said this several times since I've been here, and it's the same thing I've been saying for a decade. There's enough work for everybody to go around.
Go around.
That's why I have no problem helping somebody learn what I do. Why not? I just remember when I started, everybody would be, everybody treated each other like garbage there for a while, it felt like. But you know, you get somebody on the phone and they'd be like, well, I can't tell you that. It's proprietary. If I tell you that, everybody, and I'm like, bullshit. Man, I've put everything on Front Street. Look at all the different people I've gotten to work with that are now household names in this hobby.
Yep.
And they've done all that work themselves, by the way. I'm not taking anything from them because last time I checked, I wasn't in their shop pushing the soldering iron, breathing the smoke. They're putting in the hours doing the work themselves, right? And the same thing, there's enough work to go around.
Yeah, I've said it for years. As long as you're doing good, honest work, you're doing what you're charging for.
Yeah.
I don't care if you charge 3 times what I do. If the customer comes in, they want to pay whatever as long as they're doing that what they're charging for, great. You know, whether it be Joe Bob or whoever. It's the places that I get radios in from where the customers got their receipt and they paid for this, and this, and didn't get none of it. Of course, on camera, I'll never name drop. I just don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I don't make it. My platform is not about that. The other thing that I spent a quite large deal of time. You know where I was at before this.
Yeah.
Me and him sat for hours and talked about. I was like, dude, you're living in a fantasy when it comes to prices. He doesn't want to lift his prices up. He's in fear that he's not going to be able to sell anything. I'm like, I hate to break it to people. I mean, we take it a lot on our side of the street. The price of wire is doubled. The price of coax is doubled. Some of these fittings, some of these parts that we all have taken for granted, the electronic recyclers are all gone. There's no more, I mean, the cost of the parts to make what you want has gone up astronomically.
I know.
When I started, you could build a semi-decent, I mean, not like what I build, but a semi-decent 3000. You could get into that for $4,000 or $5,000 bucks. The amp that I brought here the other day,
yeah, the extra
14,000 in parts.
Yeah, just in parts.
In parts. That's not, and it takes a month to build them. So what? Okay, I'm going to sell the amp, let's say, for $15,000.
You made $1,000 in a month. You can't live off that.
It's not worth building them anymore because nobody wants to pay the amount of money for the good parts.
Nope.
So then, okay, so now let's go and let's look at the difference between American-made parts, and now we're going to start using Chinese parts. I mean, the tube, we really don't have a choice anymore. We don't.
Right.
We don't. We got to go to Penna. And it's just the way it is. I mean,
But you're a product rep for them, aren't you?
I enjoy a very special relationship with Penna, and I'm grateful that I get to be with them. But yes, is the answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just made sense to me. I used to be all about a Conco, but then a Conco, I can't see paying $4,700 to rebuild an American tube, or $4,300 for an American tube. I just, that's our side of the hobby. We're not in a commercialized environment where somebody's just going to give an RO out and pay whatever it is. They don't care. That's no one's going to pay that. I mean, when we're talking a brand new 15,000 is shit, $11,000 now, $12,000.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
It's not feasible. So I went, okay, who makes the best of the China shit? Who makes the best China tubes? And they test the tubes. So of course I'm going to graduate towards them. You know what I mean? But hey, we managed to make it this long.
Yeah, I thought I had that thing on silent, but
Oh,
guess not. I want to send them a message and tell them
I was
busy
excited
all the
last
time.
night because I was talking with my wife because I told you I wanted to do this and you sounded like you were amenable to do it, and I'm really grateful you were willing to sit down with me today. I'm like really, really grateful. And my wife says she this describes you to a T. And she said this, she goes, he is such a humble man.
I owe it all to my father and my mother. I mean,
Yeah, now that I got to meet your dad, I get it. Your dad is freaking, man, your dad is cool. You're lucky to grow up with such a guy. You really were.
yeah, he's incredible. they both raised me well and taught me work ethic. I mean, tobacco crops. I did a lot of hayfield work, not baling hay. Did a lot of cutting and raking. My Papa always did the rolling, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of baling hay down here.
There's not a whole lot of it, no. A lot of rolling hay.
A lot of rolling hay and a lot of bundled up, like wrapped hay, waiting. A lot of corn, a lot of tobacco. God, man, Iowa and Ohio. I don't know how much ethanol we burn in this country, but apparently it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Cornfield after cornfield after cornfield after cornfield after cornfield. How are you going to grow this going from here?
Well,
I know you're talking about a new building.
yes, I'm going to do a 40 by 60 out here. Just mainly to give me more room to work and migrate in my 2 employees to be under the same roof. Try to produce everything all here because I've got a location up north of here, half an hour where Charles puts the antennas together for me, boxes them up. But I want to, I would like to bring in like an amp repair guy once a month, but I need him to have his whole station to work out of, whether it be,
Good luck on that.
whether it be flying you in or someone else that comes along who has the time. I know you're covered up.
I'm getting ready to grow. I got to grow. I am completely maxed out on my floor space now, and I need to have more than one workbench, which I have, but they're completely covered in parts and inventory and back stock of stuff.
Right.
So, yes, that's coming. There's some huge changes on the horizon for me anyhow. I can't even, we'll get there when we actually get there. And I've talked with you about part of it, but.
Oh, yeah.
New building, more people.
Yep. Yeah. So, and of course I want to expand my product line, beyond CB radio.
Okay, so you got your own antennas now. How's that working out? How many of those you sold now?
So the truckerized J-pole, which is the Omni, last time I think we're about 88, and that's since the December, I believe it was December when I made them available. My good friend Chris in Alabama took the J-Po idea from 2 meter, all the ham stuff from 50, 60 years. It's okay, let's just make it for 11 meter. They'll work really well. The more I made beams, the name for that came from, ever since I knew Charles, aka 16 on the radio, he'd always say, I'm just a moron, what do I know? And he'd say, I'm the mayor of Moronville. He said, we're all morons up here. But to me, it's very sarcastic because that dude has built houses. He can build anything, but he's one of them people that with his hands, he can do anything. Anything you say, hey, I need you to do this, he can do it.
He's there's a lot of stuff that goes on with Charles that we can't even, not going to even touch.
Yep.
He's been there, done that, and got the T-shirt on both sides of our stories before we were born. Smart guy.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, lived in Texas for a long time, moved up here. I mean,
I walked into a shop one time and there was a gentleman that was there and he says to me, he goes, I feel I can build the best 4-pill in the United States. I went, sweet. He goes, but I'm having a hard time with an 8-pill. So yeah. So he tells me what it's doing. And I said, well, if you change this, and change this, your problem will go away. No, I don't think it's that. I looked at him and said, cool. What do I know? That's Charles. If he takes the time to tell you, you should probably listen.
yep.
He's a good dude, man.
If he leads you to water, you better drink it.
Yeah. Most likely be the best water you've ever had.
And I don't know what I'm going to do whenever he says, Brian, I'm tired, I'm going to retire. Because he was working with Lowe's and Home Depot.
I remember we used to ask him nightly, how many steps did you get in today? 16.
Yep.
27,000 steps or whatever.
They ran him to
Jesus.
death.
Yeah.
Ran him to death. And I was like, enough's enough. You come do this for me full time. And the dude's golden.
Yeah.
Like a third grandfather to me.
Yeah.
Just that generation that, once that generation leaves this world, it's never going to be replicated again. It might eventually after we're long gone, but the trade that all that generation knows and that work ethic, I mean, anybody, 55, 60 years and on up, heck, he worked harder than I did,
Oh, way harder than we did.
Hey,
Yeah.
tougher than me.
For less, and then you're told to be happy at the end of
Yeah.
the day. Yeah.
His old saying was, I got wide shoulders, I can take it. That's what he'd always say.
So you plan on doing a radio of your own at any point, or are you not focused on that?
I have thought about.
I know there's some other stuff we can't talk about that you're
Yeah.
working on right now, but I mean, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, to get stuff like that going, it just takes so much. It's such a process. It ain't easy as people think.
yeah, oh yeah.
I did just, which I've never been a big Cobra 29 guy, but I did just reintroduce some Cobra 29 chromes, comp build.
Black ones? Black chromes?
Yeah, black chromes. I didn't do the work to them. Subcontracted out Dustin, who used to be with R&R Communications.
Yeah, I met him. He's a great dude.
Yeah, I've talked to him a lot
Really
on the phone.
nice guy, by the way. Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to make sure you get credit for these, because I got so much going on with the export radios. I mean, you see all the radios sitting over here now in the queue. I said, you're
like
going to get
50
credit. Yeah.
That I can see.
Yep.
You're going to be busy after I leave.
Yeah.
Because that was yesterday's work, and it's still sitting here.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the time with
Yeah,
you
but-
immensely.
Yeah.
But starting tomorrow, it's going to be back to the grind.
So that's the problem I hate is after I get done with one of these trips, it's like that month, 2 months after I get home, it's just
Paying for it.
go,
Yep.
right? And yeah.
But I don't know about an actual custom radio, my own, but I am thinking about doing a faceplate for these 29s. I don't know exactly yet. Maybe truckerized comp 29, and then right below that put by Dustin. I've run that idea by him because, I'm all about credit where credit is due. And I've had guys all the time want me to do comp 29s. They've been a big hit just this week, I don't sell a lot of 29s, but I've sold a lot this week.
Remember when we were in Manchester, D-Rail was just getting spun up, like really getting spun up, and you handed me that Cobra 29, it was like picking up a lead brick.
Oh yeah, hit all that heat sink in it. You take it
Yeah.
off, it's just
Solid
heat sink
copper.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That thing was never going to get hot. No.
But it was all in there for a reason, because
Yep.
something had gotten hot. Yeah.
Trial and error, and now look where
And
it's at now.
that's the first time I was like, wow, there's stuff in here that I have never seen anywhere else before. No, because the comp radio is a comp radio, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But then the whole, man, he took it to another page, dude.
And I
With
kept
the
telling him,
29. He really did.
yep. And this is before I started my website. I was like, dude, I said, if you would just start advertising on Facebook, showing your work, YouTube, I said, your business would blow up. And they were already busy. Like, I'm sure they're one of the busiest walk-in shops for truck drivers in the whole country down there in Georgia. I'm sure
They
they
are
are.
the biggest walk-in shop in the United States
There you
right
go.
now.
And they were already busy there. And then when he started spreading the word online, you know, I'm sure 80% of the guys on 6 probably run his radios now. And I can definitely tell a big difference in the audio quality of Channel 6 as opposed to 10
Radically
years
changed
ago.
it. Radically changed. Him and his brother have radically changed it.
And that is his demographic.
So what most people don't get is he's the front person for the business, but it's really him and his brother.
Oh, yeah. They're
and
side by
most people
side.
don't understand that. They don't.
And they just bounce ideas off each other. If you're just there for a little bit, you can see they work so well together.
It's neat. They finish each other's sentences, or they're like one hive mind. D-Win is arguably one of the smartest people I've met in a while.
He is scary smart.
Scary.
Like,
scary.
when he gets to run, he talks way over my head on some subjects. It's just like, yeah, okay. But if I can learn something I don't already know, I want to learn it. Like a lot of coax, different things with coax and, AC amps, and stuff, which they didn't know a lot about that 10 years ago. But from trial and error, started
And
out
a lot of people helping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But without everybody helping, like you've helped out so many people, and then them people are going to help out other people and continue to pass it down.
I think it's great. Yeah. Just help each other, for God's sake. We're all in the hobby together. Well, Brian, we're out of time. We could sit here and talk for another 3 hours. We're out of time. I mean, we just sat and talked for 45 minutes. Didn't even realize the camera was.
I know.
It was good stuff. I'm not going to even try to emulate what we just did, because it won't be the same, but
I've enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it, but I have enjoyed it. It's took me down memory lane, shutting the phones down and just reminiscing back of old times.
So you were telling the story about your dad climbing the tower for you. My new student, kind of, I don't know if he's going to ever develop into being a student. I hope he does, but we'll see what he chooses to do. The 14-year-old young man that I've been working with, he got really focused on playing with his antenna, and his family kind of got fed up with taking the antenna up and down all the time. So we got him a new antenna because the other one failed on him, and he's like, man, I don't know if my family member is going to help me put the antenna up anymore. Put him on the phone. So I start talking with him, and he starts telling me about, that antenna's been up and down about 500 times, right? Oh, I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, my push-up pole day up and down. So hot up there. Because, you got a rusted push-up pole, and it's all oily where I've been spraying it. But, I'm just 14 at the time. Literally, I took my dirt bike and hooked a rope to it and jerked it out of the sinkhole. That's how I started. It was junk.
Corvette Museum fell in a sinkhole, so it's pretty common down there.
Yeah, right down the road.
Brian, thank you. Shake my hand, my man. I got to run down the road.
Hey, man, thank you for spending a couple of days with me. It's been awesome.
Thank you for all the help that you've given me the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, likewise. I got a big monster exorcist up there to key up whenever I decide to get the hard line up.
It's amazing the difference between that box and the other ones, isn't it?
Hey.
Get in here and say goodbye with your pop.
Yeah, we're signing off on the air. Y'all remember this voice because Big O will be keying down on the airways before too long. Won't you, bud?
I told Brian, I said, you're going to look back at this video in 4 or 5 years and you'll be like, holy cow.
Can you give me
I know.
Cheese before you leave.
I'll give you cheese before he leave.
I will give you another
Yeah.
hunk of Tillamook cheese before I leave.
Is that
for
cheese
sure.
I bought you not as good as the cheese that BBI brought you?
Not as good.
Not
It's
as
different,
good.
isn't it? Yeah.
That one's better, but the one that you bought me is still good.
All right, give me a smile, both of you guys.
Hey, smile for the camera.
Appreciate you, gentlemen. I'll see you. Click, click.
Thank you, brother.